Because there is a long list of talented singers among male seiyuu that don't often get the spotlight, or even if they get, they aren't appreciated. It's time to cover another set of 7 seiyuu with underrated singing skills. Let's kick off this episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyuu Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is 7 seiyuu with underrated singing skills part 2. So I'm back with another feature including underrated singers among male seiyuu. Believe it or not, there are a lot of talented singers active into the music projects, or even as solo artists that are overlooked despite their stellar singing skills. I've talked before about how most male seiyuu have awesome singing skills, be it because they like singing, do so as a hobby, or were actually part of rock bands in their school life or even after that. And that's why a new entry is here. And honestly, I believe there will be a 3rd or a 4th episode about underrated singers because the seiyuu industry is overflowing with talented singers. Once again, I'm kicking off this list with the bass singers down to baritones and tenors so that you can pick and choose who to listen to next. Tomoaki Maino is one of the very few vocal chameleons among male seiyuu. A singer that can, within the same song, perform in a completely polarizing set of tones. A singer that has a technique that shines. A seiyuu that is constantly and consistently singing in various positions, baritone, bass and tenor, and absolutely nails those. Tomoaki Maino is one of those seiyuu with the list being really short, including Toshiyuki Toyonaga, Takuya Eguchi, Soma Saito, and Ayumu Murase. Most 2D music fans will know about Maino because of him being part of Quartet Night, one of the most successful seiyuu units ever. That was the group that started breaking and setting records for 2D groups. It was the very first 2D group with a male seiyuu lineup to hold a solo live tour. It was the group that put eyes on Shota Oi, recently debuted as a solo artist when the group debuted, and Tomoaki Maino, who had been, up until then, going under the radar for most people. Even if you're not a fan of the Utapri franchise, Quartet Night is a group you've quite possibly heard about. It is that popular. But there is much more to Tomoaki Maino than his chameleon performances as Kamas, tapping into both tenor and bass range within the same song, something that is incredibly impressive. At the moment, Maino has been dazzling everyone as a bass singer in the a cappella project, Aopella. Performing a cappella music is no easy feat. It requires the singer to have absolute control over their singing tone, having a lot of technique and a good ear to harmonize and perform canons within the group. So naturally, everyone chosen to join the cast of Aopella has those tools at their disposal. Tomoaki Maino has all of those, and then his wide vocal range in his favor, something that makes him stand out. He's in charge of all bass parts in Little Happy's songs, and he is mesmerizing. Going so low as to mimic a contrabass, being responsible for the beat and tempo of the group's songs. Maino is the heart of Lil Happy. On top of his bass performance, more on the percussion side, Maino also sings for their songs, making great use of his clean baritone vocals, making a smooth transition between pure bass and then baritone. As mentioned, Tomoaki Maino may perform quite frequently as a bass singer, however, that is not his natural range. He is just insanely skilled and has a wide vocal range that enables him to tap into polarizing sides of his vocal range as a whole and deliver performances that don't sound the same between them. Tomoaki Maino is a clean baritone as a singer with a massive vocal range that includes bass, almost full bass range, and tenor, pretty much its core base. Some of the memorable songs include Kamas with Double Face and Lil Happy with Kiseki no Uta. Junta Terashima. One of the most underrated singers among Seiyu is Junta Terashima. He's a sweet baritone with a powerful delivery and some versatility to his range. If you've been following 2D music projects for quite some time, you'll know that Tsuki Pro has some of the most unique groups. Some of those with music and performances you can't find anywhere else. Since 2015, Junta Terashima is the low baritone and bass singer for the lyrical pop group Growth. This group is easily one of the most impressive out there. Their sound is adventurous, their performances are insanely technical to a degree that very few Seiyu could pull off, and their harmonies are downright impressive. And making sure this group, filled with tenors, has depth and warmth is Junta Terashima. His performances are incredibly underrated, but without him, Growth would quickly sound like a relay of high notes lacking depth. Still impressive, but that depth is essential for the group to shine and really set itself apart from all others. But there is more to Terashima than just his low, warm notes. He can go high on his vocal range, easily joining the 3 tenors in the group to bring more drama into the mix. He's got an amazing ear and sense of rhythm, harmonizing flawlessly with any member within the group. Then you have Junta Terashima as part of the hard rock band with some Visual Kei influences, Esmeralda, in the Enlight Tribe franchise. There, Terashima showed the opposite. He can be extremely aggressive and his singing can be really technical and impactful without him showing off. Riffing, crescendos, legato, vibrato, head voice and more are frequently found in his performances with the band, with him even going as far as adding to a crescendo part, legato, and the finishing touch, vibrato. Although extremely underrated even as a pop rocker, as a solo artist, Junta Terashima is up there with the most skilled singers among male Seiyu. Some of the memorable songs include Esmeralda with Radiance and Growth with Toki no Hazamani. Tetsuya Kakihara. Another name that does not get enough credit is Tetsuya Kakihara. The talented Seiyu and solo artist used to be one of the go-to talents for 2D music projects in the first half of the 10s. However, he joined those when his singing skills were developing, something that made some people wonder why such an unskilled singer was part of those projects. In hindsight, if more projects would have known that Kakihara would turn into a technical singer with a lot of control, maybe he could have been in plenty more 2D music projects by now. Most fans may know about his singing skills as a member of Moons in the B Project franchise. Others may know him as a member of Three Majesty in the Tokimeki Restaurant franchise, but where Kakihara shines is in the Aopella franchise as a member of the a cappella group Lil Happy. Yes, that once unskilled singer grew a lot, developing a control over his high baritone range. You can argue that he has a low tenor range, the difference is minimal between both, and making the best of his unique half air, half sound style of singing, which is to say his constant breathy style of singing. He added a beautiful falsetto, vibrato and R&B riffing to his skill set, and now, with Lil Happy, he is shining. Kakihara's growth as a singer is something that shows that hard work and commitment go a long way towards inverting a non-satisfactory situation. How he went from an inconsistent singer to one that powers through insanely technical ballads as a solo artist, or is the anchor to an a cappella group with his versatile baritone plus tenor combo vocal range, is something impressive. how he is still underrated after such a glow-up is something that I don't understand. Some of the memorable songs he's performed include Tetsuya Kakihara with Gogatsu Ame and Lil Happy with Little Real Happy. Ryohei Kimura. Yet another singer that is miles away in technique and quality as a singer in comparison to himself a decade ago is Ryohei Kimura. Kimura was a really shaky singer, lacking both control and technique, sounding out of tune more times than you'd want. He was, for quite some time, an inconsistent member of Trigonal, and that same inconsistency was what made Kimura one of the most popular male seiyuu be in barely any 2D music projects. So what happened that made Kimura join this list of underrated singers? He grew. You can tell he put the effort into turning into a better, more technical and confident singer. That's it. The fruits of his hard work can be felt around the release of Trigonal's One Step Forward. From that point on, Kimura turned into Trigonal's most consistent singer, an anchor for the group's sound, and ended up being cast in the a cappella project Aopella. This is just like Kakihara's story. A once weak singer grows, appears with insane control and confidence, and dazzles everyone years later. And while Kimura serves as a low tenor for Lil Happy, harmonizing flawlessly with everyone, ad-libbing and being effortlessly technical, I still feel like he impresses the most with his chaotic performances as A-Dash in the Dear Vocalist franchise. There, he has been able to spread his wings and go for crazy performances that require not only his technique but also his versatility. And when it comes to versatility, embodying crazy, intricate characters and then delivering performances that render you speechless, Ryohei Kimura is a master. You can expect to hear more of his husky low tenor vocals in the next couple of years because Kimura has been absolutely flawless as a singer in the last couple of years. Some of these memorable performances include A-Dash's Peach, Ichi Rei ni Go, and Ryohei Kimura with Siren Fair Lady from Trigonal's Tricolore. Ken. Another seiyuu that has awesome singing skills yet is extremely underrated is Ken. Once a seiyuu that was everywhere when it came to 2D music projects, Ken is one of the most stylish singers out there. And why do I say stylish? Ken is a showman and a singer. He's all about that showy riffing, husky voice, vibrato and falsetto. When Ken is on the lineup of a 2D group, you know for sure he's going to show off. Singers that naturally show off are rare. On top of my head, there is Toshiki Toyonaga, Natsuki Hanae, and Ken. These are singers that, on top of their technicality and singing tone control, love to add a little bit on top. Ken is a tenor, with quite the low range, tapping into baritone range when he wants to. He's best known for his showy style of singing, growly notes and husky tone. He can be extremely alluring at one point and menacing in the other. Most fans following Ken since his debut will know that he used to be part of a band prior to making his debut as a seiyuu. He was actually the keyboardist to that band, and I believe that experience made it so that he's always comfortable on stage. He joined Marginal No. 4 in 2013 and quickly showcased his technique and quality on the vocal end. He then performed character songs in plenty of anime and games, continuing to impress with his quality. He then joined Idolish 7 in 2015 as well as is a member of Mezzo, its subunit. You'll find completely different performances in both groups. In Idolish 7, Ken serves as both a reliable core piece and powerful lead. In Mezzo, he shows how technical he can be, harmonizing with Atsushi Abe, riffing his way through the verses. And more recently, he joined the lineup of Lil Happy, a cappella group in the Aopella franchise, and he has been impressing since day one. For this group, Ken fully embraces his tenor range and goes for the soft, high-pitched performance for each of their songs. With a lineup stacked with tenors, you would think it'd be hard to stand out, and indeed it was, at least at the start. As of late, since the franchise's second CD, Ken has been delivering beautiful, crystal clear, high notes, harmonizing with everyone, performing canons, overall adding a lot of quality to the group's performances. Some of his most memorable performances include Ken with Sanctuary, Marginal Number 4 with Mo Namida Okakusanaide, and Mezzo with Ame. Atsushi Abe. Atsushi Abe is exactly the very definition of an underrated singer among seiyuu. Although in the past he was active with J-Addict, seiyuu unit that was really popular in the early 10s, he is not the most active seiyuu when it comes to 2D music projects. Yes, believe it or not, one of the best singers in Idolish 7 is not cast in any other 2D music projects nor has a solo career. Owner of a sweet tenor voice and with an interesting emotional range at his core, Atsushi Abe is a reliable singer with surprising versatility. You can expect him to harmonize with other seiyuu without an issue, he can lead the way and deliver rock-steady performances, and you can expect plenty of technique from him, from vibrato to falsetto and head voice. He's best known for being one of the most complete singers within Idolish 7 and its subunit, Mezzo. With a sweet, gentle voice and a lot of technique, Atsushi Abe is one of the hidden singing talents among male seiyuu. Some of his most memorable performances include Mezzo with Ame and Sogo Osaka's Maybe. Naozumi Takahashi. Best known as a singer rather than as a seiyuu, Naozumi Takahashi is as underrated as you can guess. However, the talent he has as a singer is something that I believe needs to be talked about. For a brief period of time, late noughties, early 10s, Takahashi was a name often tied to Reject's works, and he joined one of the very first 2D music projects, Pythagoras Production, in 2013 as part of Marginal Number 4. It was with Marginal Number 4 that Takahashi showcased his smooth, warm mid-tones and R&B style of singing, a trademark of his. Although he's got 20 plus years of solo career, he's been an indie artist for most of that, something that has hindered his visibility. But he does have a repertoire that is overflowing with catchy dance pop tunes and ballads, showcasing his unique energy and technique as a performer. Some of his most memorable songs include Naozumi Takahashi with A to Z and Marginal Number 4 with My First Love. No matter how many times I create a new episode about underrated singers among male seiyuu, I end up coming up with another list filled with yet more talented singers that deserve more love and recognition. It is crazy that there are so many male seiyuu with awesome singing skills, yet not all get their opportunity to shine as solo artists or even as members of groups into the music projects. A lot comes into the equation as to why they aren't recognized or more appreciated. When it comes to 2D music projects, not all end up being successful and lasting long. And as far as solo careers go, unless a seiyuu is signed to a major music label and creates unique music or does something flashy, it is really hard to stand out. And then there is the whole talk about looks. Most people nowadays only care about looks and use those to decide which music or groups to check instead of checking seiyuu for their reputation as singers or even by recommendation of other fans of male seiyuu music. But truth is, there are a lot, way too many talented singers among male seiyuu that deserve your love and attention. I hope these and the previous episode about underrated singers among male seiyuu make you curious enough to check their music and performances. So tell me, are there any male seiyuu you feel like they are extremely underrated, yet they are awesome singers? Keep the suggestions coming in the comments so that I can highlight many more awesome yet underrated singers among male seiyuu in the upcoming episodes. And remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of Seiyuu Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the Hand That Feeds HQ's weekly male seiyuu and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Thank you for listening and see you guys around.